Okay. All right. I think that's a Q&A. Any questions?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Chen, for explaining with so many details. I wish I known this when I was going through interview
Sure. Yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So we received one question. How would you answer tough questions, even if you don't have the answer to it during the interview?
Right. Like I was saying, right. So when you define tough, right? So tough, it's kind of like a tricky question. So tricky terminology. I would see if it's technical tough, of course, right? Be honest, but you can all the time asking for hints. I use that trick all the time. If I don't know the answer, I'm asking. If I stuck in the middle, I'm asking the interviewer, "Can you give me a hint?" Or you can probe them to see, "Hey, do you mean this?" So instead of you answer a question, you stuck in there. Try to asking for more information. Help yourself. Okay, so that's one trick. If it is behavior question, right? Very tough behavior question, that's actually by purpose. We are trying to put you in under stress, put you under really, embarrassing or awkward situation and see your behavior. So if you're reaching to that situation, right? A few things you can do. Number one, again, slow down. Okay, asking him for more details. Fully understand the question. A lot of time, actually, it's you probably don't even understand which he is asking you. And if the more question you ask, the more information or more intention you can read out of it. So this is two tricks you can do. And number three, if after this two, right, you still kind of stuck there, which is fine. Be honest and tell them what you think. There are still some tricks. I think if you're going to interview Amazon, right, the 14 leadership principle will be your guidances, and you can read a lot about it. I think if you if you're going to prepare behavioral questions, yeah, just going to searching for Amazon interview, there are so many cases. You can looking for some answers, and of course, if you have any other particular questions, yeah, you can feel free to reaching out to your friends and in order to prepare. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really helpful. Yeah, so if we have any questions, feel free to type in the chat, and Yuchong will help us with the questions. He will.
Yes.
Yeah, I do see like 3 questions.
Yes, we have a few questions here.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Chen. Yeah, so ask the questions. The first one is directed to Amazon specifically, like in Amazon Lab 126. What are some of the hottest technical or design projects? And do you think a junior candidate could gain advantage during interview if he or she is familiar with the related Amazon projects?
The answer is no. Okay, so if you're a junior or fresh, number one, I don't think you have any method to know which topic, which project you will be assigned to. This is actually really confidential. I don't think there's any chances the interviewer will tell you, hey, what is actually the new product or what is actually the new technology that you are going to be working on. It's really extremely rare. Only thing I can think of is like if you're a PhD student, right, and you have been working on your thesis or your project has been very cutting edge, and then people may asking you only about what you have done in your PhD study, and they won't tell you what is actually the utilization and what's the project will be there. So I don't see knowing the project will help you. And actually, instead, if you tell them, hey, I believe you're hiring for this project, and this is actually hurting you, people are gonna question you, hey, how you know this? This is very confidential. I don't know, am I can answer the question or no?
So I think, well, thank you for the answer. If Daniel, he's the one who asked the question, so if he has clarified, please post it in the chat. So for his second question, it's more from a grander scale, and it's asking you, what do you think? What do you see as the most prominent trends in the hardware industry today? And is open source hardware going to work magic, much like open source software?
Yeah. Okay. So I think this is actually a pretty big topic. So personally, I was a software engineer before, and I was doing studying on semiconductor design before. I was doing RFIC, and I used to also working on system design, like wireless system design. So now I'm working on consumer electronics, right? So how you're gonna integrating stuff. So this is kind of very difficult question to answer because every single area you follow the trend, right? So if you want to see what's the future, it's probably right now it's in the school. Okay, it's in the university, it's in the school, and the most cutting edge stuff you will have a while become basically turn them into products because products you have to ship in high volume, which require a lot of reliability and and also has to be robust enough. So it's also very difficult. So basically, right now, the most things you can see, like like cutting edge technology, it's already there, applied it on the hardware. So you already see that, or you can see the rumors. So for example, Apple have M1 chipsets, or they have some, or Amazon have Alexa, right? And maybe Google have a glass or something like that, and Facebook maybe have a AR/VR glasses. So those kind of things you already can tell what it is. So most of the time, okay, don't think about technology. That's why I tell my team. So don't think too much about technology. Think about use cases. Think about what you need in your life. Once you can identify your life, your use cases, automatically there will be a lot of technology, a lot of products behind it. Okay, so if you ask me this question, honestly, I don't know how to answer. So for example, like wireless, right? We go different frequencies, right? So I'm working on Wi-Fi for many years. So Wi-Fi have a trend from 11 ABGN going to 11 AC. So now we are going to 11 AX, going to 11 BE. All those kind of things, they are standard, right? So they are in the industry trends, industry standard. So I would say, yeah, basically just look around. There are so many information, so many rumors around. You will see what will happen. And the most, basically the next, surprises is actually probably in the university or in some of the rumors. So you can find out.
Got it. Thank you. So our next question is, when you're considering a candidate who is a new graduate, is internship experience a must-have?
I will say, especially think about this, right? How are you going to differentiating you from the rest of people? So internship actually is one of the bigger differentiation. And also, when I interview you, right, I cannot say, hey, can you give me your final final project report and let's read it. It won't be like that, right? It's actually internship will be considered as most relevant industry experience. So I would say internship is going to drastically help you, and I do believe, okay, you should have internship. It's gonna really improve your chances to be hired. But is internship a must to have? Not at all. It's a big plus, but it's not a must to have.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the next question that we have is, as a hardware engineer, which company or companies in the industry are the ones getting more momentum and a brighter future?
Okay, you're asking $1 million question, but I will see follow the money. Okay, so you see where the money goes, that's where the future is. Very simple. If you look at a particular company, right? So you can see FAANG, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Facebook, right? FAANG. That's where in the stock market, that's most popular stocks, where all the money going to. So that's definitely one thing. If you're going to, basically, again, right? So if you're going to particular technology or domain, all the time you have your leaders. So for example, if you're going to semiconductor, like a Qualcomm, they are still the leader in the wireless industry, right? Wireless semiconductor industry. If you're going to CPU, right? I will see NVIDIA, Intel, they are still, or AMD, they are still leading in that area. So I will see, again, if you don't know which industry you're going to choose, just follow the money. See where the Wall Street betting on. That's probably kind of easier answer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
Okay.
So that's it for our questions in the chat. But if there's more coming up, I'll let you know. So I'll pass the mic.
I see another one. I see another one. So how can I improve myself when HR generally doesn't give clear feedback after, again, right? I can guarantee you no HR will give you a clear feedback. Okay, it just it's kind of really a professional tradition. They will not give you very detailed. So that's what I'm saying. After interview, move on. Okay, so you can summarize yourself, reaching out to people. If they give you something, it's not necessarily that's reflecting every single details. People may thinking you're overqualified. Okay, maybe people may think about particular skill sets you're lacking. It just means you may not be the perfect candidate for that particular position. It doesn't mean you will not have chances for the next round. Okay, and also again, right? So when you're reading a job description, you may feel like, hey, I am the best candidate ever for that position. However, when we're putting a job description, a lot of time it's so generic, it's very general. We cannot put in the details in the job description. So for example, I want to design radar. I cannot see I want a radar engineer. I'm probably going to see I want to have an RF engineer who also have some relevant experiences. So that's what happens. So when you feel like, hey, I interview so well, I answer all the questions, why I'm not being hired? So don't worry about it. Move on. Okay. There are a lot of things you cannot get a clear answer.